in an interaction like this, which is experimental on both sides, it can be counterproductive to have a goal from the very beginning. I felt it was better to be process-oriented. And I came up with the title Body as Design, and I was thinking, well, let's see what happens, and let me take some kinds of material, then see what the response is, and we'll take it from there. This is the first time I'm working with non-performance students. I have worked with students of this age group, but they're usually training to be professional dancers, so they've had several years of training already. So this is really quite a new experience.
Right? So that's, you put these two, sit on these two. So this is, these are the, you know, that's when your intuition is telling you.
You know, I am telling you because yesterday I was really concerned.
First lie down because you're straining your back as you, yeah, and then others will help. Okay, just a second. I'm going to straighten out Milan. Gently, very gently, very gently.
She's getting stiff.
Relax. You're in safe hands. Children, if you let me go.
Slowly.
Slowly. Oh, deep blue sea.
Don't.
Slow. Nice, you're quite a team now. Okay, so you know from physics that there's not that much difference between different kinds of matter. We think that it's different, but there's not really so much difference between my skin, the floor and a tree, the tree and the air. It's all different patterns of molecules. When you go very deep into it, there seems to be almost no difference whatsoever. It's a very interesting way of looking at it because then the whole idea of pain and illness is different. It has more to do with everything else around you. It has more to do with the natural environment. It has to do with the cosmos, with the way things move and the way things flow. So channeling, meaning movement, is then a particular channeling of energy through either a body, one body and another body, a body and an object, a body and a surface, whatever. Next, we want to shift our attention quite gently upwards to the area which is in the crest of the diaphragm. That's the center of the breastbone, the solar plexus, which has the color green. And then gently shift your focus upwards a little more to the base of the throat. Keep notes of the responses that you have to those colors, the nature of the colors, strength, weakness, intensity. Stretch out as if you were just waking up. Would anyone like to share anything before we go into the stretching? Any interesting, puzzling confusing.
I just felt the color change. Like here, I first imagined light green, and then by the end, it became dark green.
That's interesting,
Without
isn't it?
my knowledge, like.
I think it's really up to you to decide. I like to think of each color as being in a range. So from light to dark, for example. You know, apart from the issues that we carry as body memory and issues that we deal with as tensions or habitual patterns, there's also the subtle shifts from day to day. Yeah?
There was a very sudden pain on my whole rib area, and it was acute pain in 2 points, and then it was like unbearable. So like, someone was like really pushing me, very climb onto me, trying to push me into.
It really sounds like some sort of memory or some sort of accumulation of energy, you know. I mean, when you deal with this sort of thing, you don't necessarily have to know what is its origin. You don't have to know. You can just define it as, okay, this is the sort of feeling I'm having. And then this kind of a feeling. So it's probably what you need to work on a lot is this area and finding the strength between these two and the link also between these two. So then this can just be lifted off. So let's do a bit of stretching now, and then we can break. Okay, sit properly. You should be very well aligned now after that exercise. Try to remember that little shift in your alignment that I may have come and made yesterday. Yes. And breathe out and bring the head down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So, what do you think of the workshop so far?
Yeah, it's been very nice, and we start the day with relaxation exercises and then going to doing some improvisation.
In the initial days when she told us to like, come on, let's see you tumble, we used to feel very inhibited, But then as we got to know the members of the group, and I think all these exercises which she gives us, I mean, we started concentrating so much on all these things that we're able to express ourselves so well. It's really working.
And it's like a journey that you start from the sole of your feet and then go up to your head. In a usual day-to-day experiences, what we do is we're more related to what is happening outside, but what is going inside us, how we react to our own environment, sometimes it doesn't click to us. And this was an opportunity for me to go within myself and how I'm able to relate with other people.
I'm a product designer, so we are in normal situations you are put to visualize, imagine and things like that. Actually, to be very frank, the first 2 days it was a bit difficult for me to actually adjust, to focus, concentrate on the parts of body. It's very difficult because we live in such a dynamic, moving world, but we are struggling to focus where she's telling us to focus. And it's helping a lot in a way that, I'm getting, aware of myself more.
Okay, we'll be doing now 3 exercises here. The first one is impulse movement. Let me show on you. Nice. Keep the flow. Try more towards the middle of the body. Take the same partner and make eye contact, and both of you move any way that you want, but keep the eye contact.
You have to have an eye contact. That's great.
Last one that we'll do on the field is the axis exercise. This is something that's actually taken from the Greek theater methods. And if you can think of an area which is a big round plate, you're going to have one person who is your protagonist. The rest of the group is your chorus. And the idea is to keep a constant axis between the protagonist and the chorus. Oh, we don't have that. Okay, stay together. Someone try.
No, not this way. We don't have It's okay. Someone else.
Nava Nritya, it means new dance, Nava Nritya, and it's a contemporary methodology from which you can approach the traditional forms like classical dance and martial arts and yoga, and a very open form, flexible and ever-changing. See, the idea is that one wants to expand as much as possible the body vocabulary that is available to one in order to express all the different things one wants to express. I don't decide I want to work on this particular theme or I want to talk about this. I think inspiration comes to me in a different way. And sometimes it's a piece of music that inspires me. Sometimes it's a character. When I'm doing group work, sometimes it's social interactions. Because I found that I needed to go into other areas. And I was really looking into universalities. I was looking into crossing various boundaries, you know. Looking for universal values in unexpected places. My life experience has been one of crossing and challenging boundaries. I was born in Africa, I grew up in the States, and I've been based in Calcutta now for almost 20 years. And as I travel as a dancer, I meet many, many people, not only artists, but other people as well, who have this very vast kind of cultural experience. If woman-centered themes are a running thread in my work, then it's not conscious. It's just because that's what I grew up in, and that's part of my formation. And so that will be expressed in various ways. tang 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 paki tang kali masuai masuai akurai 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 makasuai tang 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 paki tang kali masuai masuai.
We did forward kicks one day, didn't we? So let's do kick, down, 3, 4, a little bit of balance, 5, 6, 7, 8. Slightly odd movement, okay? Everyone ready? Right leg. And the wave comes up, and down. And it's coming through, step, swim, swim, and 2, 3, 4. Once again.
How has the course been going so far?
It's enjoyable in terms of it's really fun. You're sort of improvising as you go along,
You know,
and
the fact that we aren't preparing an artwork, or we aren't preparing something we're going to put up in a jury, or you know what we always do in the other courses, and that's a kind of attention you end up working for something rather than learning something. So here it's more spontaneous. We're just doing something, we're enjoying it, and it's very personal process, but finally towards the end of it, it's a collective thing. You know, whatever you've learned just comes together to help you, just rather than a thing which you keep. So that way it's a very nice way of learning.
to an onlooker it will look pretty crazy, you know, what we are doing. I mean, tumbling around in the lawn and stuff, but you basically got to experience it to enjoy it, you know.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So you're taking one step through with the right foot, swim, swim, and then another step through and turn. Go all the way around and touch the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
5,
Okay, there's
6,
no
7,
no
8.
curlicues,
Beautiful.
nothing. It's a smooth movement.
So you take a
One,
step before each movement.
From here, 3 men in the front. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And next, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep going. 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, once again, it's getting better. High, low, step, fly, tidal wave, high, low, step, fly,
I think it's gone very well. A lot of things emerged that I never expected, and a a lot of issues arose and ideas were provoked and interesting discussions happened. And it also resulted in a presentation which went extremely well. And I'm very pleased.
Breathe. Don't waste your energy with laughter. Breathe. Okay, now the men go diagonally down and go to the end. Women ready and start to lift. Okay. Okay. Careful. Careful. Timing depends on confidence, and also you have to learn to communicate without speaking. Very good. Very good.
Students who were very shy in the beginning, who flowered, they just blossomed before my eyes, which is always such a pleasure to see. There was a beautiful group energy, there was a warmth, there was a togetherness, and I think that's what carried them through the presentation with a tremendous amount of confidence. Well, one thing I found definitely in this group of students is that they have a great capacity for lateral thinking, which is something you don't often find in trained classical dancers in India. And it made me begin to think about what other kinds of education might be relevant to develop contemporary dancers beyond the classical training, because that's my particular field, contemporary dance. And that's been very revealing and very thought-provoking.
8 times.
8 times.
The main thing is that they all enjoyed themselves. And that pleasure is what is communicated to the audience. When that happens, the audience can feel it.
Academy, academy, Akita, Akita, academy, 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 ta, 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 ta.
Either in terms of, you can do it in the biological visualization, in terms of going over bones and joints, etc. Or you can do the energetic visualization.
The morning exercises are basically the relaxation part, know your body or whatever you want to call it, and it's different for every person, and there are different postures or different positions in which you lie, and for every person it depends on what you find more comfortable, and so it varies from day to day on when it's more effective and when it's not. But basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to relax every part of your body, especially using the breathing. You're trying to feel more comfortable with it, and finally it's a kind of a journey through the whole body, and you learn a lot of stuff, like you learn what is tense and where you're tense and how to relax yourself, and overall it feels very nice.
Thanks, okay? Yeah, nice, yeah. Nice composition.
Root chakra is Muladhara, that is the first chakra. Yeah. No, that's not the one that we're working with. But you see, the second chakra is very useful as a base. It's a very solid base. And it has a lot to do with self-care.
He's there, he's blocking the path.
Let them go into the sun, it will be a better shot.
अरे हम तो एरिया फॉलो करने
ये यहाँ से कैसे आ रहे हैं? रिसेप्शन के थ्रू जाने को बोला है।
अभी तो अंदर जाके तो अंधेरा हो जाएगा
Yeah,
Divide the kind of work we are doing into perhaps like two categories or something, whereas one is when you're directly dealing with the body, you're working with body, you're doing stretching exercises, or you're doing, like he said, lifting up exercises, each other's, you're actually touching physical parts of the body, and the other is more like, you know, yeah, it's on a very intangible level where you're just realizing things. It's a realization, it's very personal, and in that I think the thing that I have realized most, the thing that has struck me and what I've come to know for the first time after we have started the course, is that the process of thinking, which we always link up with the mind or with the brain, has also a lot to do with the body. Like he was talking about body memory. So your body also thinks a lot, and we are not used to that concept at all.
Okay, let's do some body work. Okay, all right. All right, relax.
Yeah, just help.
Don't jump, don't jump, don't jump. Don't jump. Even her talk about that. Just relax. That's it.
We learn to realize the facts that visual deception is what that creates mind block, especially something like a person who looks quite heavy may not be actually heavy when lifted. You know, certain things like that we actually realize ourselves, and certain techniques how to, that is actually involved in theatre. Trust another person when you do movements like lifting up and all these things, which falls in the category of a list of exercises called as trust exercises.
Are you alright? Everyone okay?
When you're with certain people, you leave the room feeling very much more energetic and happier. And with others, you just feel drained. And it's not a judgmental thing, but it tends to happen a lot.
You mean in social interaction?
Yeah, and it's not like you like one set better than the other or anything, but...
Well, there's also certain things that are not about negative or positive, they're simply about compatibility. Individual energetic compatibility. There are some people with whom you may just have a complete dissonance of energy. And that same person may have a resonance with someone else. So I mean, it can be, but again, don't try to be too simplistic. These things are very complex.
Keep contact until you meet somebody. Maybe you break first, I break first.
Things that were happening. What were things that were happening?
At times, initially, I am listening to do the same thing. Yeah. But like none of you just end up doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Once in a while.
You're able to read a person.
You are able to guess what the other person is. Yeah.
पलटना पीछे आगे जा आगे से कवर करना पीछे से किसको Tina, he is Raj.
What were things that were happening?
At times, initially, I am listening to do the same thing. Yeah. But like none of you just end up doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Once in a while.
You're able to read a person.
You are able to guess what the other person is.
Yeah, you're able to guess.
Yeah.
Read his expressions, what's
Yeah.
try to know
You can make out where they're going to turn next.
Yeah, that's what.
And like as you started doing it, you got like more uninhibited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it became like a lot more fun. Like
Yeah.
Like both of us were trying to like cheat each other.
Yeah.
and there was like maybe a sequel that was happening or an underlying story or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Like a chain of extra.
It's almost like
Yeah.
a whole characterization is happening sometimes,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, and it's
very
shifting. One person is dominant, one person
Yeah,
is
yeah,
dominant,
yeah.
like that. It's the relationships shift. I'd like to try something which is similar, but this is basically an axis exercise. What are you doing? You're creating an axis between the two pairs of eyes, and you're moving, keeping that one axis. Now the axis also helps you to focus your own concentration, which helps you to be, that's why you can be more aware of the other person's movement, because you're more focused. So it's not that, it's simply your focus that makes your peripheral vision able to pick up, oh, I know she's going to do that now.
I'll go.
It's not just an instrument alone, what people generally think. Like, you have to think in your mind and execute in terms of the very, defined organs like hand and feet. But the whole body as such requires attention. Body confidence, what makes you prepare yourself to accept the next part of the whole, advancing things, like, especially how do you use body as a communication medium okay, to communicate an idea or something like that. And how do you use the body as a surface for something to be decorated with, as a surface board for ornamental purpose.
I mean, it's better if you are behind him and hold the towel along with him and do it. Yeah.
I just want to quickly go over some things that I noticed. We're supposed to be out of here. There's going to be something happening. But just quickly, I feel that the second women's group needs sound.
yeah, and we always want something like results. We don't improvise on the spot, and I mean, we work towards results. In this case, it's not like that. We're not working for results. We're just going with the flow, improvising as it goes
And the
along.
result isn't very.
Learning in the process of as it happens.
And the result is not very immediate, like you do certain things and it's in front of you. It's a very gradual, ongoing process, which with discipline and a routine, regular workouts, you get to know that you feel more about yourself,
Say, there's one thing here you want to ask us as to how body is related to design or whatever, how it's going to help us in design. That's another thing which, like, I think she just mentioned. We're so used to working towards a goal, a project, that we sometimes neglect to take things as they are, which may just be ingrained in us and may help us in the long run. And that is what we are learning here. We're learning about our body, which is going to, it's just putting a lot of consciousness into us, and to use a very cliche term, it's helping us to be more sensitized. But it's not about direct relationship, it's not about a project you're going to put up, or it's not about certain qualities you're going to ingrain in any of the other projects you're going to show. It's just about a way of thinking, a way of life which you're ingraining, this becoming more relaxed with yourself.